sports.
We are the Fourth. We are so.
America's pastime. Its most triumphant achievements are often unexplainable.
Oh, baby!
The result of split-second thinking that cannot be defined.
High fly ball. That one's way out of here. A reaching, tried it again. What a catch.
I don't know what else there is to say about this guy.
Watch closely. It unfolds in the blink of an eye.
Boy, it's great to be back at Turner Field in Atlanta, where the Braves have played the fewest home games of any National League ball club. This weekend, we've got the defending world champion San Francisco Giants in town, and tonight it's Game 1 of our 3-game series. Hi again, friends, along with Dale Murphy and Joe Simpson. I'm Chip Carey. Great to be back home after a disappointing road trip. The Braves went 2-5 against the Dodgers and the San Diego Padres, but now it's the Giants in town, Murph, and a red-hot Chris Medlin gets the ball in Game 1.
Yeah, Chris Medlin has been doing his thing pitching, and he's been doing a little bit hitting, Chip. It's been fun to watch. It's always fun to watch him pitch. You'll see here, Chris, great command with his changeup right here. And then you see, again, two seamers working really well for him and another good changeup. But he started listening to his personal hitting coach, Tim Hudson, and hit a home run, first career home run. That was a lot of fun to watch. But maybe he hits tonight, but let's watch him pitch.
His numbers lately, Dale, have been really good. And while on our Volkswagen pitching performance, his record is still a losing record. His last 13-plus innings, he's only given up 1 run, and that was unearned. 1 walk, 12 strikeouts. And the Braves are back home where, Chip, they've been outstanding all year long.
21-7 are the Braves on their home turf, and they owe the Giants some payback. They beat them 3 out of 4 times at AT&T Park, and Madison Bumgarner is the opposing pitcher. No place like home indeed, and the Braves are back against the Giants next. Nice crowd gathering at Turner Field for the Braves, the Giants, and post-game fireworks. Atlanta 21-7 so far here at home. Looking, Joe, to make some hay over their next couple of weeks, for the schedule indeed looks very favorable for the Braves.
On our Wendy's now, that's better. And that does have to do with the home schedule, and it certainly is better. 14 of the next 19 at home. A lot of those games are going to be against sub-500 ball clubs, and for the rest of the year, the Braves don't have to travel any farther west than Kansas City.
And while the Giants aren't a sub-500 club, they are a sub-500 team on the road, and they are injury-riddled. Who's not playing for them may be as important as who is in Bruce Bochy's Toyota starting lineup. Gregor Blanco leads off in second. Tony Abreu's at second base. No Marco Scutaro, out with a bad finger. You do have to worry about Buster Posey and Hunter Pence, both those men red hot. Brandon Crawford's their shortstop and bats fifth. Brandon Belt's at first base with Andres Torres in left field. Joaquin Arias in for Pablo Sandoval, and Madison Bumgarner pitches and hits ninth.
14th start of the year for Chris Medlin, 27 years old, 5'10", 190. He's still not getting a whole lot of run support. Receives 3.1 runs of support per start. That's sixth fewest in the National League. He did beat the Dodgers last time up by a score of 2-1. He got a whopping 2 runs to work with and improved his record to 3-6. His 4 keys to pitching success will come right after we see Henry Blanco. Actually, it'll come right now because I messed that up. But his 4 keys, the other side. Tonight he gets to hit right-handed. Maybe he can go deep right-handed this time. And his 2-seamer is definitely back. It's been a great pitch against lefties.
And his first of the night to Gregor Blanco is up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Blanco at 274, 20 RBIs. Gets the start in center field for Angel Pagan, who's also banged up for San Francisco. Caught a corner, 2 balls and a strike.
When I was writing down some notes on these Giants hitters, guys, everybody's hitting about 350, 400 on this road trip, and in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so they've been swinging the bats real well.
And Blanco puts a charge into this ball deep right center field. Jason Hayward going back, and it's gone. A leadoff homer.
What were you saying, Joe?
Well, first homer of the year for Gregor, and he continues to tear up Atlanta pitching, his old ball club.
The home run ball is hurting Medlin this year. That's the 9th he's allowed.
Well, you mentioned, Joe, about his 2-seamer. The challenge is when pitching behind, that 2-seamer's got to catch a little bit more of the plate, unfortunately.
First career leadoff home run for Gregor Blanco. Now Tony Abreu hits.
All these guys that are playing in the absence of, in this instance, Pagan or Sandoval, everybody is really contributing and picking up slack.
Yeah, Mike Krukow, I was talking to him before the game. I was saying the same thing. I said, hey, you guys are kind of banged up a little bit. He goes, yeah, but it's been really good, actually.
Yeah.
Guys get a lot of at bats, and they're filling in. He said they're stepping up.
That missed inside to Abreu. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, that's one way to start the homestand. Get everybody's attention.
To third. And Chris Johnson makes the play, and Abreu's the first out. Here's a look at the rest of the Atlanta defense. The Braves have committed 37 errors this year. Johnson, Simmons, Ugla, and Freeman around the horn on the infield, with Brian McCann behind the plate. Upton, and Hayward from left to right. And a nice cheer for Georgia native Buster Posey. Another Giant that wears out Atlanta pitching. Remember, we see the Giants just once a year out in San Francisco and once here in Atlanta. Despite that fact, Posey has hit in 11 straight games against the Braves.
And always has a big following here in Atlanta since he's from the state. Curveball.
Posey's out of Leesburg, Georgia. And fouls that one off at the plate to stay alive. What a career this guy's already had. '12 National League MVP. Won the Silver Slugger Award. Comeback Player of the Year. He's got a couple of rings for the Giants. Buster Posey is only 26 years old.
They've won 2 of the last 3 World Championships, and not so coincidentally, he was hurt most of the year that they did not win it.
That's after he was barreled over at the plate when the Marlins were out west. And Posey, a ground ball to Simmons at short. Hamilton's got it and makes the throw for the second out. Well, fellas, with all the injuries the Giants have had, where would they be without this man, Hunter Pence? He's their team leader in homers with 11. He's hitting .296. He's knocked in 35 runs.
And 13 for 13 in stolen bases.
And Midland gets ahead with a strike.
And he's a great presence on the team. Very emotional. Doesn't take an out off. Plays hard all the time. That's the one thing I noticed a couple spring trainings ago. I wasn't really familiar with Hunter Pence. And where'd he come from? The Astros?
Astros and the Phillies, and
yeah,
then
that's
the
right.
Giants.
Astros and the Phillies. We were playing the Astros one day, and I was just in the outfield, during BP. I said, "Who is this guy?" And he said, "It's Hunter Pence." And whenever he's on a team, everybody loves this guy.
And a looping line drive into right field on an 0-2 count.
Like Chris made a mistake up on that one.
Yep.
Pitch to Blanco is more or less right down the middle. Actually at the target, but it was up where he could reach it.
Good point. The part of the plate he wanted, maybe even a little off the plate, but it was up. Hunter Pence does things a little, well, maybe more than a little unconventionally.
Yes.
Even his throwing. But he's aggressive in the outfield, and he's very accurate with his throwing.
So Brandon Crawford's the Giants shortstop. His first look at Midland tonight. We were talking out in San Diego, Murph, about the number of National League shortstops who are really opening some eyes. Almost as an afterthought, we mentioned Brandon Crawford of the Giants. That's not real fair. This guy's a good player.
And he's swinging the bat real well right now. .331 average over his last month or so.
Yeah, I've liked this kid since I've seen him. In fact, at the World Baseball Classic meetings, he was one of the shortstops I brought up. I thought we ought to pursue. Ambleton was already taken with the Netherlands, or I would have suggested Ambleton. Right. But I like this kid. Stepping in, hitting fourth.
And a close play at first. Pence just got back. Crawford, another young player that's had amazing success. He's one of 6 players in the history of the game to hit a grand slam in his first big league game. As the Giants use a hit and run beautifully. And Pence will make his way to third without a throw. Another hit on another 0-2 count. This is Giants baseball in a nutshell, is it not, Joe?
Yes, and you were telling me some numbers before the game, Chip, that I thought were very revealing about this team by comparison to Atlanta, with a lot fewer homers. They are still scoring almost as many runs as Atlanta, and this is the way they do it. The way they have to do it for the most part because their ballpark's so big, doesn't give up a lot of home runs. So they've got to hit a lot of singles and a lot of doubles.
And they do that. The Giants have scored 3 more runs. Excuse me. Get that right. The Giants have scored 1 less run than the Braves this year. 1 less. They've hit 40 fewer home runs than the Braves. And they have struck out 200 fewer times than the Braves.
That's some incredible stuff.
And Brandon Belt with a fly ball toward left, and that will retire the side. Chris Medlin gives up a leadoff homer to Gregor Blanco and strands a pair in the top of the first inning.
Welcome back to Turner Field. Giants up 1-0 heading into the bottom of the first. Well, 20 games in 20 days the Braves were playing leading up to that day off they had yesterday. You heard Chip mention 28 games at the TED. That is the fewest in the majors, but the Braves have the best home field winning percentage right now in all of the majors. So something has been working here. I asked Chris Johnson about it, and he said there are no excuses, especially after the way that we played in San Diego. Justin Upton said we've rested, and he kind of joked and said we've hydrated because we have to get back ready for this heat. 8 games in 7 days. Chip?
Thank you, Elizabeth. And we all know hydration is very, very important as the weather starts to warm up here in Atlanta. Let's check out the Braves Toyota starting lineup. Simmons, Hayward, and Justin Upton. 1, 2, and 3. Jason Hayward's red hot, by the way. Freeman, McCann, and B.J. Upton in the middle. Dan Uggla, Chris Johnson batting 8th, and Chris Medlin 9th against Madison Bumgarner,
who makes his 14th start. His last 5 games, a huge ERA, although the 1 win was in his last start, and that came against Arizona. Very little run support for this guy, too. Tough lefty, though, out of Hickory, North Carolina, and a #1 pick in '07.
He straightens up Simmons in the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. The inside edge. Giants pitched Andrelton very tough out west. He was 1 for 16 in the 4-game series out at AT&T Park. And 0 for 3 against Bumgarner.
Bumgarner throws in the low 90s, 92, 93. Good slider, a lot of sliders, and a curveball. He also has a change. But from that arm angle, very different type of delivery.
Yeah, typically I always like to face left-handers, but this kind of delivery where he actually shows you the ball behind his back was hard for me not to be distracted by that. You know, you take a guy like, even though he's tough, like a Clayton Kershaw, typically over the top guy, where you get that same kind of release point. Now all of a sudden you see it back there behind him. It's hard not to get distracted by that. You can see it, you know, and it's you always talk about pitchers how well they hide the ball. Well, here's a guy that doesn't hide it at all, but that whole arm angle thing is very distracting. Can be.
Well, let's see what gives in the matchup of Hayward and Bumgarner here.
Well, his 4 keys to pitching success: a slingshot delivery like Dale was describing, very hard to pick up, and a little help, please. We showed you his last 5 starts. He's 1-3. But over his last 4, the Giants have scored 1 run or less for him while he's been in the ball game.
I like that description, slingshot. That's exactly it.
He's got his run on a Blanco leadoff homer. Now Hayward's in the box, riding a 10-game hitting streak for the Braves.
His season strikeout high came against Atlanta in San Francisco with 11. And he did that in 7 innings. He's only gone 7 innings once since then, and that start was May 11th.
High fly ball toward right center. Blanco on the run, shy of the track, makes the play for the second out. And fellas, when you talk about this Giants club, 34-31, Joe, that stat you mentioned may be the most surprising thing about this club. Long known for their dominant starting pitching, it hasn't worked out that way for Bruce Bochy's ball club in the first 2.5 months.
No, and Tim Lincecum has struggled. Matt Cain has had a rough time here the first couple of months. Nobody expected that to happen. Vogelsong's on the DL. The starting staff's been a little scattered in terms of what they were expecting.
Justin Upton finished off the road trip in San Diego in good shape. A couple of hits and a couple of RBIs. His first and second RBI for the Braves since May 18th.
See, that was a swing like he didn't even see the pitch. I mean, like he picked it up real late. And I think that a lot of it has to do with that delivery.
Yeah, I would agree, Joe. That I was wondering the same thing as soon as he swung at that. I was like, was he almost swung like he's looking for a changeup?
And that's over the outside corner, and Upton knew it. 3 up, 3 down for Bumgarner, who leads 1-0 after 1. San Francisco has struck first. A leadoff homer from former Brave Gregor Blanco gives the Giants a 1-0 lead as we head to the second.
I'll bet it does feel hot to you, my friend, coming from Alaska.
Here's Andres Torres. And Medlin misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Torres' batting splits really reflective of this Giants club as a whole. He's hitting .269 for the year, but only .182 on the road. They've got several players whose work has been much better in their home park. And that .182 mark will take a hit as Dan Uggla puts the squeeze on a pop-up for out number 1.
Their road work altogether, as he popped up this off-speed breaking ball, has got to improve. At 13-20 for the year, compared with good numbers at home. They play well at AT&T Park. Took 3 out of 4 from Atlanta when they were there in early May.
And after the series, the Giants head home to play the Padres for 3 big games. And then they'll host Miami for 4. Joaquin Arias is playing third base for Pablo Sandoval tonight. Sandoval's out with a bad foot. In the air to right, Hayward fell down, and he's going to have to play this one. Well, he won't play this one at all. It bounces off the warning track and into the seats. Boy, a big break for Arias. A routine fly ball to right. Hayward simply tripped and fell.
Yeah, don't see guys lose their footing too often. Jason had a beat on this one. It was well hit, Joe, but I think Jason looked like he had a good jump.
Outfield turf's got to be really damp and soft after that big storm that went through last night about this time. Probably an inch of rain fell all over Metro Atlanta as it passed through so quickly, if not more than that.
Yeah, north of town, a lot of trees down, debris in the yard, still a lot of power outages as well. We'll see how the field plays the rest of the night and on in through the weekend. Good weather expected, although it's going to warm up. Rain expected again early next week. As Bumgarner looks at a called second strike.
Well, I think that must be a joke, because as perfect as this field is, I can't remember a time I saw an outfielder who went to cut like that. It looked kind of like a football field where they had just put the turf in. So that must have been it. It must be extra moisture out there.
He went around, and Bumgarner is Medlin's first strikeout of the night. Arias at second, 2 away for Gregor Blanco.
Gregor got a pitch he liked in the first inning. Dropped the barrel on it for his first homer of the year.
Well, here's an area where the Giants have been awfully good all year. Runners in scoring position and 2 outs. The Giants trail only the Cardinals and the Padres with a .264 team batting average with runners in scoring position and 2 down. Padres at .276 as a team. You know what St. Louis is hitting? .339
as a team.
As a team with a runner at second or third and 2 outs.
It's ridiculous. As a team. You know, you hear about guys hitting that well individually, but if you put a team together like that. incredible.
Dangerous pitch, 2-0 to Blanco, and it's taken for a called strike. Remember last year when the Giants were making their postseason run and Melky Cabrera got suspended? It was Gregor Blanco that got a lot of the playing time in that Giants outfield. And he rips one into right field. Hayward plays it on a hop. Here comes the throw toward the plate. It's going to be close but late. And Gregor Blanco with a big 2-out hit puts the Giants up 2-0.
Blanco came in hitting against his old ball club at a .333 clip for his career. 9 for 27 with a homer. For the year, he was 3 for 9. And now he is 4 for 10 on the year with a homer and another RBI. Bad throw there from Jason to airmail the cutoff man that allowed Blanco to get into scoring position for Abreu.
That's a tough play by Jason. That's exactly the kind of ball that makes right field so tough. Ball diving a little bit like that. I was actually impressed that the throw was that close.
Now a line drive to second is handled by Ugla. Jason Hayward stumbled in right. That turned into a double and a run when Blanco brought him home with 2 outs. TNT Uverse by Delta Airlines and by Ford. Giants issuing a little capital punishment to the Braves in the early innings tonight. 2-0 is your score on a warm night here at the ballpark. Nice crowd gathering. They've seen the Giants score single runs in each of the first 2 innings, both knocked in by outfielder Gregor Blanco. First pitch swing by Freddie Freeman, and that's fouled back out of play. A swinging strike. Freddie had a good road trip, fellas. He was really hitting the ball solidly to the opposite field. This one is pulled toward first. And a soft line drive handled by Brandon Belt for the first out.
Yeah, 370 road trip. You're hitting the ball hard just about every time up there.
Base is clear for Brian McCann. 7 homers, 17 RBIs for the Braves catcher. He is getting some late swings in the first 2 innings. Caught a corner 0-2.
Well, I think it goes back, Chip, to what Joe said about his delivery, that slingshot delivery. Is there anybody in your guys' mind that replicates this kind of delivery, or is this totally unique in the league? I can't
think of anyone.
Think of anybody else that that would even come close to this.
There are some relievers who, throw a little funky and step toward first and drop down, but
you don't face them all the time.
That's one at bat.
Yeah, it's one at bat if they happen to come in against you during the series. But Bumgarner's really unique.
And he's only 23. Pitched in the World Series when he was 21, maybe 20.
Well, you got to respect him. I mean, anybody with a nickname Mad Bum,
yeah,
got to respect him.
Out of play, foul again.
He's the guy, Dale, that the story I tell about him quite often is that he grew up on a farm, lives on a farm in North Carolina, very mechanically oriented, can fix stuff. Their team bus broke down at Denver. You know how far it is between the airport and Denver to town.
Oh yeah, with the new one way out.
Yeah, somebody on the bus, because they're gonna have to wait for another bus to come out and get him, and somebody yelled to the back of the bus, "Hey Madison, see what you can do." And he got out, went out, and I always say raised the hood. I don't know where the hood is on a bus, but
I wouldn't know where to look either.
Started digging around, knocking around, and he walked up to the door and told the bus driver, said, "Try it." It cranked up, and they went on to town.
Sounds like an Evan Gaddis story,
Yeah.
actually. Oh, that's good. Good stuff. Well, I don't think you can overstate the importance of the fact that he has pitched in postseason already at a young age. That is an incredible confidence booster. It just raises your level of experience so much. I know I refer to this World Baseball Classic a lot, but that actually came into some of our decisions as the team advanced to San Francisco. We were going to save, forgot his name, he's on the DL for them right now. Vogelsong, because we thought the atmosphere. We'll finish it later, yeah.
He struck out 11 Braves out west. He struck out 4 in the first 2 innings. And he leads 2-0. Atlanta. Braves fans, Delta Day's back. Grab your phone and text Delta to South. That's Delta to 76884 for a chance to win round-trip airfare for two. Any place Delta flies in the continental U.S. Plus hotel accommodations and $250 spending cash. We will announce our winner on Delta Day this coming Thursday, June 20th, during our Braves telecast. Message and data rates may apply. Entrants may get one text message confirming entry, and the winner may be contacted by text message.
Yep, Thursday's the last day for the Delta.
I wonder if anybody has won that Delta promotion, decided to say, I want to fly from Chattanooga to Atlanta.
I don't know, but I think they'd probably be happy about that if you were Delta. But whatever you want.
Right. Anywhere they fly in the continental U.S. As Buster Posey up for the second time already, he bounced out to short in the San Francisco first.
This guy's a good hitter, and there's just nothing fancy about his swing. He's just very solid, very simple, and really quick.
For me, he's the Joe Mauer of our league.
Yeah. I was looking in their notes. He hasn't walked in 57 plate appearances, yet he's still among the league leaders in on-base percentage. It's odd that he hasn't walked. Nobody's pitched around him.
Line drive down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Another two-strike hit for the Giants. This one on a 2-2 count. And Posey gallops into second with a leadoff double, his 17th.
He was 5 for 15 with a homer against the Braves out in San Francisco. His first hit tonight, but it's a double. And while he was trying to run that two-seamer down and in, didn't get it far enough in, and another 0-2 count. They already have 6 hits.
So Posey, a 12-game hit streak against Atlanta, and it sets up Hunter Pence, who singled on an 0-2 pitch his first time up.
Even though Chris had 2 strikes on Posey, I really don't think the thought there is that we're going to get him out on an inside fastball. So like you said, Joe, just got too much at the plate. Really, you want to get that ball off the plate. Make him swing in a bad pitch. That's kind of the same place right there.
BJ can't get it. It trickles behind him. And that's going to score Posey. And Pence in at second base. It's 3-0.
BJ's looking like he might have lost it at the last second. It certainly looked like when he was coming in, he had a good read on it, had a good break on it, and came in, and then not sure what happened.
Back-to-back doubles, and Pence with his 36th RBI.
Might have been sinking on him. That's the only thing I can think of. I know if he catches it, they've got a double play because Posey took off on the crack of the bat.
Only thing I could think of is that, Joe, it was sinking or it was a knuckleball. He came in just like I was thinking double play as soon as he started coming in, and then just didn't even look like he got leather on it. So it must have been doing some funny stuff.
This start has already reminded me of the start that Tim Hudson had the other night in San Diego when he was victimized by some bad luck, especially that little blue pit down the third baseline that hit the chalk. But tonight already for Medlin, the right fielder falls down and the ball gets under the center fielder's glove.
And 3 runs, 7 hits in this third inning, and nobody out in the frame.
Chris's start against the Giants is kind of like this back on May 12th. He pitched into the 6th inning but gave up 8 hits, and that day walked 5 guys. Gave up 5 runs, 3 were earned, so there were some mistakes made behind him that day. But he also gave up 3 homers.
Two balls, 1 strike. And the, I'll say differing philosophies, but certainly the differing results indicative of how this game has gone so far. The old saying, if you put the ball in play, something crazy might happen. As Joe mentioned, that has happened to the Braves defense a couple of times already. In the case of the Braves offense, of their 6 outs, 4 have come via the strikeout. And Bumgarner's got 2 perfect innings under his belt. That's off the tarp foul. Crawford's still alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Giants already 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight, and they had been 6 for their last 15. They beat up on the Pirates yesterday. I think it was 10-0. 8 for their last 20.
Edlin gets Crawford to swing and miss. There's the first out.
Good changeup. Good spot there.
Yeah, it was just like a couple of the changeups that we showed on his highlights prior to the game. Good downward movement. Wow.
Here's a guy with a great baseball hitter's name, Brandon Belt. He's hit 7 homers. He's knocked in 29.
For a couple of different reasons, he would have been one of your dad's favorite players.
Why is that, Joe? Little looper into right. Hayward's coming on. Got a good jump. Two outs. See if Medlin can get Torres and stop the bleeding. Single runs in each of the first 3 times up for San Francisco so far.
Torres really landed on his feet. He had a pretty good year with the Giants a couple of years ago, and they traded him to the Mets. And then he did not play well for New York. I believe they released him and maybe put him on waivers, and the Giants got him back, so he's right back where he started.
That's a pretty good trade, huh? Pagan for Torres, and you get Torres too. Giants got him as a free agent 12 days before Christmas last year. Played 132 games with the Mets. Hit just .230. Scored 47 runs and 374 at bats.
I think he had a stint or 2 on the DL too last year that probably affected his numbers, maybe trying to play with some injuries during the course of the year.
Yeah, he started slowly in April. Just 3 weeks with a strained left calf. He never really got on track with the Mets. And as you know, you get off on the wrong foot there, a little tough to recover, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They don't let you forget it. Curveball's been good tonight.
Yes, it has. And his command with that changeup is really coming around. He's looked like he's settling in a little bit. Like you said, you know, it's just been a couple unfortunate things, really. He's just got to take into consideration that he's starting to pitch pretty well, not let this game get out of hand.
And he just struck out Torres with a fastball. And considering how the inning began, that could have been a whole lot worse. Good job by Chris to limit the Giants to another run. Dan Uggla leads off the Braves third, down 3. Three 0 as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Dan Uggla goes to work. Braves looking for their first base runner or their first hit, as Uggla down a quick strike. This is a man that's given Dan a lot of trouble. He's 1 for 16 head-to-head with Bumgarner. You have numbers like that, Murph, I'm sure you feel like you're in an 0-2 count after every pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, you always feel like you're behind, you're in between everything. And that's what I always tried to remember. Is to, whenever you're in a funk or you're having trouble with somebody, I always try to remember to increase your aggressiveness instead of laying back because you're mad at yourself and swinging at bad pitches. Usually when you're in a funk, you're taking too many good pitches. So I say go up, hack it. And Dan has already gotten 2 pitches to hit. Just go up there swinging. It's not that easy, but you got to try something different sometimes.
Well, he rallies to fill up the count.
Yep, that's sometimes a big victory in itself when you're really struggling against someone. I always joke around, you know, my theory was swing hard in case you hit it, but sometimes there is something to that theory.
Swinging hard's never a problem for Dan. But connecting is, as Bumgarner has his 5th strikeout among the first 7 hitters he's faced. Time for our Ram Trucks Power Stats. Here's an amazing thing. Everyone knows about how good Clayton Kershaw is. But not many folks think of Madison Bumgarner in quite the same glowing terms yet.
Virtually the same ERA. He's got 9 more wins, does Bumgarner. More quality starts. And like you said, Merv, I think Kershaw is a more typical, standard left-handed pitcher, where this guy is not your usual. He's a little unorthodox with his delivery, but to the Giants' credit, nobody tried to change him after they drafted him #1.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes you see this delivery, you're thinking, well, we got to change that up.
Yeah,
you're right. That's a good point. Let him go.
And if you like the guy enough to draft him in the first round, why would you want to change him?
Although I've heard that happening.
Yes, sir.
And look at this. Kershaw for the Dodgers. One of the game's great young pitchers. But you wouldn't know it. Bumgarner's got more wins. As a ground ball toward third is scooped up by Arias. Chris Johnson makes contact but is retired. He's the 8th straight sent down by the Giants lefty.
Well, I think get back to that point, Joe, about him. And the Giants win 2 out of the last 3 World Series. At a young age, to get that experience, we talked about how important that is and your confidence. It's just an incredible thing. And I talked a little bit about the World Baseball Classic. Vogelsong, we were going to save him till San Francisco. Not only is that his home park, but we felt like the atmosphere would be, that World Series type atmosphere, and someone who's been in it just has that confidence. So we were trying to save him for that. We didn't make it, but from Bumgarner at a young age to have that, and just the flat out stats that you mentioned, Chip,
He's made
incredible stuff.
He's made 2 starts in the World Series. One in 2010 against Texas, went 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs. Last year against Detroit, 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs. He's 2-0 in the World Series and hasn't given up a run yet in 15 innings.
That's not bad.
No.
And he can fix the bus if it breaks down on the way to the game.
You got no troubles traveling.
So that'd be a great debate. Who would you rather have? Bumgarner or Clayton Kershaw? If you had to pick. And no, both is not an answer.
Well, and
either one.
Last year he was
either one. Yeah.
Is that not an answer?
Well, either one. Yeah, either's fine, but you can't have them both.
Can't have them both. So, yeah, that's.
He's had an ERA in the 3s each of the last 3 years. Last year's best year, he went 16-11. They had some signs that he was going to be okay in the big leagues as he was working his way up. In the minor leagues, he was 34-6 with a 2 ERA. His first year when he signed, he went 15-3 with a 146. Good grief.
That's got to make your scouting director feel really good. You draft a kid #1, you give him the big bonus, and he rolls out a 15-3 in his first pro year.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of wondering though. He won 34 games in the minor leagues. I gotta say, why wasn't he up there sooner? Why did he stay down there so long to win 34 games?
Well, let me give you a reason. That first year in rookie ball, the next year he went to San Jose, was A ball. He went 3-1. They called him up to AA his second full year. He went 9-1. And that year he went to the big leagues.
Well, there you go.
And he pitched in 4 games, 1 start. The next year he started at AAA and he went 7-1. They called him up and he's been here ever since. So it wasn't a big delay.
He just kept winning.
Yeah.
They got him up there as soon as they could.
Meanwhile, Medlin has had the best at bat for the Braves. This will be the 9th pitch he sees. And he'll see a 10th, for the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
We've always said Chris had more power left-handed, so we'll find out tonight about his right side, which is his average side.
It's for average from the right side?
Yeah.
Power for, okay.
Yeah.
Deep short. Crawford has a strong arm, and he showed it off. 9 up, 9 down for Bumgarner, who's due second in the fourth for the Giants. They lead it 3-0. Three nothing after three. Time for tonight's Crown Royal game summary.
Madison Bumgarner doesn't usually get many runs to work with, but he's already gotten 3 single runs in each of the first 3 innings. Gregor Blanco's driven in 2 of them, one with a solo homer leading off the game, and the other with an RBI single in the second. Hunter Pence already on the board with a couple of doubles. And Chris Medlin, you see his numbers across. By the way, Bumgarner, 3 perfect innings with 5 strikeouts.
So let's see if Chris Medlin can have an easy frame. He could use one. He has not worked a 1-2-3 yet in tonight's ball game. A leadoff homer by Blanco in the first. A 2-out RBI single by Blanco in the second, and then Hunter Pence doubled home Buster Posey in the Giants' third. Joaquin Arias has also doubled and scored tonight.
I'm not kidding you. These guys have been swinging the bat. Blanco 7 for 18 on their road trip. Abreu's 4 for his last 7. Posey 5 for his last 10. Belt hitting 400 on the trip. Arias 344 over his last 6 games coming in. They've had some hot hitters.
And where were they? Pittsburgh in the last?
Yes.
And that's a good staff too. They've been facing. I mean, that was the last city they were in.
Yeah, they got Charlie Morton, who was making his first start since Tommy John surgery. He roughed him up a bit. And speaking of the Pirates, they lost A.J. Burnett. He's to the disabled list with a bad calf. Don't know how long he'll be out for Pittsburgh. And Arias swings and misses. A little anger now from Mr. Medlin, it looks like, Joe.
This also looks like Tim Hudson from his start the other day in San Diego after Tim gave up those early runs on some real fluke happenings. You could just see the look on his face after that. I think he set down 13 in a row after that with some strikeouts and Chris, hopefully on that same pattern here.
He's punched out 3 of the last 4 Giants hitters. And now faces Bumgarner, whom he struck out the first time. Simmons, nifty play at short. Takes care of the pitcher. And Medlin 1 out away from that 1-2-3 inning.
Next players, that ball got to Anderson in a hurry. And took his time.
I've never seen anyone except, you know, a blast from the past, but Ozzie Smith get to his feet so quick. Whether he's diving or there, he just went to one knee, but great feet, as we always talk about Anderson.
As much damage as Blanco has done to the Braves, that hurts. I'm happy for this guy. He was a popular teammate in Atlanta. And finally getting a chance to play with the Giants. About 41 games last year for him.
I know Terry Pendleton was always a big fan of Gregor Blanco's.
In 2008, Blanco played 144 games, had 400 at bats for the first time in the big leagues, and hit .251.
He plays every winter in Venezuela, his home country, and always puts up good numbers. Our Home Depot tools from the dugout. The fact that he can go deep as well as bunt or single or steal a base for you. That was the first run of the ball game, and then he singled in the second to drive in another.
High fly ball to left, and Chris Medlin has that 1-2-3 frame. Blanco's perfect night is done. Braves look to get something going in the 4th, down 3-0. Beautiful North Georgia sunset as we welcome you back to Turner Field for Friday Night Braves baseball on Fox Sports South. Tonight's game is presented by Blimpie. Joe Simpson, Dale Murphy, Elizabeth Morrow, and Chip Carey with you as we venture on to the Braves half of the 4th inning. Madison Bumgarner is perfect through 3. He struck out Simmons to start the Braves game offensively. One ball, one strike.
Well, Chip, since you threw that out to us and we have to make a choice on
who you want,
Kershaw or Bumgarner, yeah. I'm going to make my pick and let Twitter have at me. But I'm going to go with Bumgarner because you know what I like this delivery that looks so effortless. To me, it looks like a long-term career. Clayton Kershaw could last 20 years too, but that's the only reason I have. I think this guy is. I think I like both of their makeup. I've heard of great things about both of them. I like this delivery. It's a little funky, but it looks smooth and repeatable, and looks like it's going to last a long time.
In the air to center. Blanco broke in. Now drifts back and gets there. 10 up, 10 down.
Well, if consistency means anything, you'd like him too. And he pitched against the Braves out in San Francisco. He retired the first 11 guys in a row before Justin Upton got a hit. He's retired 10 tonight, and he struck out 5 of those first 11.
We've seen this movie before.
We have. Braves got a run in the 5th. It's the only run they got off of him after Evan Gattis led off with a double.
Jason Hayward, our Georgia Lottery, hitting the jackpot tonight.
Good work on this hitting streak. 395 mark. Had a good road trip. 2 of those homers were on the trip in one game.
One ball, one strike.
He attributes this good run and those home runs to better timing.
He missed inside. 2 balls and a strike. Giants shade him toward left in the outfield. They play him a bit to pull on the infield. Good cut there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And got a good pitch to hit too. Just missed it. Good swing.
That's high. Jason got that an instant before it was in Posey's glove.
It's been interesting to see the number of late swings on his fastball.
I just have to think that, like that pitch to Justin Upton his first time around, the ball is just kind of on you. That sneaky quick thing. I mean, he's throwing 92, 93, but still, ball comes out of his hand so easy.
And Jason might have swung at ball 4. It was up and in, and that's 11 straight retired by Bumgarner with 6 strikeouts.
Well, I thought 2 pitches before Jason did a real good job of laying off a high fastball, and here he just saw one that same pitch a little bit in, maybe looked a little bit better. It's Joe, like you mentioned, it gets on you quicker than you think with that easy action, and it's deceptive. It's deceptive and actually getting in there pretty quick. That's a tough combination. But there have been so many tonight, late swings on a fastball, that there's something going on. The guys are definitely having a tough time picking them up.
Justin took a called 3rd strike to end the opening inning for the Braves.
There must be something, and you could speak to this as a right-handed hitter, Dale, that normally when a left-hander's out there, three-quarter, low three-quarter, you get a good look at the ball tracking into you if they try to pitch it in right-handed. This guy is not so.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. The only thing I can think of is what I said earlier, is when a guy like him, and I can't even remember the names, there are only a few guys, left-handers, that I remember when I played, that show you the ball back there. It's distracting. It's just something it's hard to get your eye off of.
Oh, what a play at first by Belt. He was in perfect position to take away a hit for Justin Upton. And it's 12 up, 12 down for Bumgarner as we head to the fifth.
Welcome back to Turner Field. Giants up 3-0. Well, Brandon Beachy pitched his last rehab start yesterday. 69 pitches, 38 of them were strikes, only 3 innings. Freddie Gonzalez said that was the plan to pull him like that. He is scheduled to pitch a bull session tomorrow. If there are no setbacks, that start date is still for Tuesday. Freddie Gonzalez also said that it'll be Paul Maholm's choice who gets to pitch which game. He was here today. Beachy was supposed to talk to the media before the game started, and he needed to go see the team doctor. Things are looking good. He will talk to us after the game, so I'll keep you guys updated.
Thank you, Elizabeth. As Tony Abreu starts things off for the Giants in the 5th inning. 69 pitches for Beachy on Tuesday, or 69 pitches for Beachy in his last rehab start. And 2-1, 327 combined at all the different levels that Brandon worked coming back from Tommy John surgery. That's one part of the equation. For at least one turn through, the Braves are ostensibly going to have a 6-man rotation because they're not going to drop anybody. He's just going to pitch the doubleheader game. What do the Braves do from that point forward is the elephant in the room for Roger McDowell, Freddie Gonzalez, and Frank Wren.
One would think that if you're adding a pitcher, you're going to take off a pitcher as soon as that doubleheader is over, and you've got to make a room on the roster, because I just can't foresee the team going with a 6-man rotation for any length of time. That's one man's opinion.
Well, and I like their answers so far. And that's what I would say. These things have a way of working themselves out, and we're going to do what's best for the team. That's all. Because I don't know. They got some tough decisions for sure, but good problem to have is, we all know, too much pitching.
Sharply hit to first. Freddie Freeman to a knee, takes care of Abreu. And that's out number 1 as Buster Posey bats. He's the subject of tonight's Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, Buster Posey's a pretty good player, but check this out. The highest average for a catcher in his first 5 seasons since 1930, and only 3 other catchers have had higher averages than Buster Posey. And Buster certainly only 1 point behind Jason Kendall, a lot more homers and runs driven in than Jason Kendall. It's a pretty good company.
Yes, indeed. And Joe, you mentioned earlier his swing. It's always in control. Just is a, you know, he swings and misses. When he swings and misses, he doesn't look like he's out of control. It looks like he had an idea of what was happening anyway. Some guys kind of swing kind of wildly, but even when he misses the ball, it's a good looking swing.
That's foul at third.
Sorry, Chip. 251 plate appearances, 31 strikeouts. That's better than 1 every 10 at bats. No, it's not. That's almost 1 every 10. It's like 1 every 8 or so. Still outstanding for a guy who is a 3-hole hitter, driving in a lot of runs. Not that many strikeouts.
And they're mixing him in at first base a little bit. How many is he? I didn't look at any numbers in the stat sheet this year.
That's down the right field line. He reached out and poked that into the corner. On a 1-2 count, Posey stands at second. And boy, fellas, Chris is really getting hurt with 2 strike counts in the early innings tonight.
Yes, he is. And I would agree with you that is a problem. But some of them really haven't been that bad a pitch. But that's really kind of where you want to throw that one. But Buster Posey.
4th hit with 1 strike, or excuse me, 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes, or 1 and 2. But I mean, this guy Pence did the same thing to him on a changeup that was off the plate but up that he could reach.
A single and a double for Hunter Pence tonight. And he looks at a ball high.
I think it gets back to the double that Posey hit previously, a fastball in. There's a fastball away. I don't think the thought is you're going to get this guy out with a fastball, so you got to make those pitches worse and try to get him off. That's what I'm thinking with the off-speed stuff.
That's hit to short, and Pence is the second out. Crawford had one of those 2 strike hits for the Giants. It came with 2 outs in the opening inning. He's also struck out. Giants got this kid in the 4th round back in 2008. Lives in Pleasanton, California. Went to Foothill High School and UCLA. He was their MVP at UCLA 2 years, in 2006 and 2007. Also all Pac-10. Might have been Chris's best pitch of the night. 0-2.
Yeah, that was really biting in. I don't know if he threw a little cutter there or not, but it was right in on his hands.
He fought that off and spanks another 0-2 pitch into left field. Crawford on his way to second. Upton's throw is not in time. This is unbelievable. The Giants all year long have punished the opponents with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. This one an even crueler blow, an 0-2 count. And it's 4-0.
If you're doing that, if you're a team that has put together some good numbers hitting with runners in scoring position and 2 out, that's generally somebody, a group of guys who are just trying to put the ball in play, as you suggested earlier, but giving you good at bats, fighting, battling. And another double. How many doubles is that tonight for them? I got 5 in my book.
Yep, 5 doubles and a homer.
And he just fought that off. I mean, he didn't try to do too much with it, but found some pasture with it.
Well, to their credit, again, getting back to that statistic earlier, Chip, they don't swing and miss a lot.
The Giants get a line drive off the bat of Belt, and that'll chase Hayward back. And that retires the side. Another run, 2 more hits. Last to the 5th. Our Delta Airlines on deck batters, the heart of the Atlanta order. Brought to you in part by Blimpie, by the Georgia Lottery, by the Home Depot, and by Toyota. Big crowd on a beautiful night in Atlanta. 4-0 though. The Giants have the lead as Madison Bumgarner goes to work with Freeman, McCann, and B.J. Upton. Every now and then a guy's pitching a game like this against the Braves, you'll hear a fan yell real loud, "Hey, you got a perfect game, you know." And he's jumped in front of Freeman. No balls, 2 strikes.
This breaking ball to left-handers, a big sweeper that might start. Looked like it's starting at the inside part of the plate, but by the time it gets to home plate, it's over in the right-handed batter's box. Went upstairs. That's where Posey wanted it, but Freddie spoiled it. 91 fastball, about shoulder high too, and he got a piece of it.
As Frank Wren remade this Atlanta offense in the offseason, one area he was trying to improve was the Braves' work against left-handed starting pitching last year. The Braves as a club were a game under 500 against lefties in 2012. Entering tonight's game, the Braves have won 14 of 21 games started by lefties and hitting a very respectable .251 as a club. This man, Freddie Freeman, is one of the Braves' best left-handed hitters against left-handed pitchers. Freddie at .317 against them. 2-2. This is what Freddie Freeman does oh so well, Joe. He fights off tough pitchers' pitches.
Here's what you're talking about, Chip. On the Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard, Braves are 14-7 against left-handed starters. That's second best in baseball, behind the Yankees, who are 14-6.
Ground ball toward third. The Giants had Freeman played perfectly, and it is 13 up, 13 down. 1 out. Pretty amazing, too, that the Yankees are on that list, considering all the injuries they've had to deal with. A-Rod, Jeter out. Granderson's been out. Mark Teixeira's been out.
Teixeira left-handed, or switch hitter rather. Granderson a left-handed hitter. Not sure what that does to their lineup to help them against lefties, but in their absence, they've done pretty well. I understand Jeter was just cleared to start doing all baseball activity.
Yankees 3 back in the AL East race behind the Red Sox and Orioles. Pretty remarkable considering how beat up that club's been in the first half. The Giants start play tonight, 2.5 games behind Arizona, tied with the Rockies for second place. Rockies got awful news. Troy Tulowitzki has a broken rib. He's out 4 to 6 weeks.
How did he do that? Was he diving? I heard it was trying to make a play, but I never saw a replay on it. I don't know if he was diving for a ball or not.
I don't know the answer.
Horrible injury because he is just tearing it up offensively.
One ball, 2 strikes for Brian McCann. And that caught the outside corner. Now Brian's turn to argue with Gary Darling. A couple of Braves have grumbled about the strike zone. That's 14 straight. And McCann asking for that pitch for Chris Medlin. 2 outs.
And it's a big sweeper. The question is, did it catch the corner of the plate as it went by? Not where he catches it. I would guess it is a left-handed hitter. That pitch looks a foot outside.
Yeah.
And it just, the perception, and you saw where he caught it. It's not.
It looks like it's breaking 3 feet and a foot outside.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I've always. I just don't like the fact that umpires always set up inside. I don't know what it's like back there. I mean, I caught a little bit, but I've always felt like you should be right on top of the catcher, right behind, and miss up and down, but get the plate right. Another late swing there by BJ. We've taken a number of late swings off.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like an umpire that sets up, and then it doesn't matter where the catcher goes. He stays positioned right in the middle of the plate.
Yeah. And because when the catcher sets up way outside and you're still inside, you are looking back at an angle instead of being right on top of the pitcher. I mean, it's instead of being right on top of the catcher. But that's what they teach them. They teach them inside. To me, you miss the outside part of the plate when you're setting up on the inside.
A rare 3-1 count. And that's the first Braves base runner. There goes the perfect game bid. Humpkins aboard for Uggla. One swing gets the Braves back in the game.
That was an interesting pitch selection there. With a 4-run lead, 2 out, nobody on, and trying to throw a backdoor breaking ball. Around the plate.
So Bumgarner to the stretch for the first time tonight. Late defensive swing by Ugla. Strike one.
Oh, it's uncanny. We've talked about it, but it's been
strange.
It seems like a couple an inning. That would be 10. So far, I mean, it probably hasn't been that much. It just seems like there's been that many noticeably late swings.
You see that third inning count for Bumgarner. 10 of those pitches came to Chris Medland, Braves pitcher. He's had the best at bat of the night. Runner goes. The pitch a strike. The throw to second is late. B.J. Upton has his fourth stolen base.
Got to make a decision with the left-handed pitcher to go on his first move, and if you pick the right pitch, you get a great jump, and he did.
So a hit means a run. That is the first Braves stolen base in 10 games. June 4th against the Pirates, the last time a steal was recorded.
I like BJ's aggressiveness. Sometimes down fours, sometimes where you kind of shut it down a little bit, but I think you got to be aggressive against Bumgarner tonight because it doesn't look like you're going to get a lot anyway. You better try something different.
Outside corner, strike three call. Now Ugla turns and grumbles. Still no hits for Atlanta as we head to the sixth.
Well, we talked a little bit about it, Joe, on where the umpire sets up, and this is what they train him to do, and I've always kind of disagreed with it because I've missed this outside pitch, but when you're setting up inside like that, I think sometimes looking back at an angle over the catcher, it's hard to get the best depth perception, and that's exactly what Dan Ugla told him here. He said, I didn't like the way you perceived that way.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Andres Torres hits the first pitch right to Freddie Freeman for out number 1. Giants batting with bottom third coming up in this 6th inning. As there's been an awful lot of grumbling about the strike zone tonight. At some point, doesn't that become counterproductive from an offensive standpoint?
Yeah, it sure does. I think, and really some of the, in fairness to the umpires, I don't think all of these have been that bad pitches. I mean, sometimes when you're struggling a little bit as a hitter, they all look bad. I think one of the challenges for Dan is sometimes he pulls off and doesn't get a real good look sometimes at that outside pitch. So to him, it's not getting the plate, but sometimes it is.
1-0 to Arias. And that's how the play even count.
The tough part for me, Dale, is that not necessarily on a 3-2 count, but when you're behind in the count, 0-2, 1-2, any of those borderline pitches, you can't really afford to trust the umpire is not going to call it. If he's given those corners to a guy like Bumgarner tonight, you better be ready to protect the plate.
And I would imagine from a hitting standpoint, you may have a question your first at bat, first time through the order, but second time through, you ought to have a pretty good idea of what the strike zone is. And Bumgarner's been around the plate all night.
Yep.
Medlin unfortunately has been too, because he's made some mistakes with 2 strike counts, and he's got one here for Arias.
I think some of Chris's challenges have been, he's got ahead of hitters, but then the pitch that he wants to throw a little bit high, it's just been a little bit too low. The one that he wants to throw a little bit outside has just had a little too much at the plate. Bumgarner's thrown some really tough pitches when he's been ahead.
High fly ball toward right. And Jason to his right is there and has it. That's the second out.
But you're right, Chip, too, is, you first 3 innings, everybody kind of figures out the strike zone and comes back and says, look, he's calling it. Better be ready to swing. You better be ready to hit it. Plus, like you mentioned, Bumgarner's there anyways, putting it around there. But the other thing that you got to be a little careful with is Gary Darling, just the psychology of the whole thing. He starts feeling like everybody's arguing about his strike zone. He starts, it's human nature to start fighting back at that a little bit. I mean, you got to stay calm as an umpire and be fair, but it's human nature. If everybody's arguing about everything, it ticks you off a little bit.
I will say this. Gary's let everybody have their say tonight, and for the Braves, they must not be being too abrasive in their comments, other than to just stand there and argue and debate that those pitches aren't strikes. BJ, McCann, and Ugla have all had those extended conversations.
And I would imagine the conversation might be something along the lines of, this guy's tough enough.
Might be.
With an extra ball or 2 off the corner. But Darling's been consistent, and Bumgarner and Medlin have been consistent too. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Giants pitcher. Medlin due second in the home half of this inning. The Braves bullpen is busy. Atlanta trailing 4-0. And that is yanked way foul and into the upper deck beyond third base. Again to short, and Simmons will make the play, and Medlin has a 1-2-3 6th inning. Will he stay in the game? We'll find out. 4-0 Giants the score. Back to Turner Field for Friday Night Braves baseball on Fox Sports South. Our game this evening with the Giants is presented by Bullpen. There you see the line score 4-0. San Francisco with single runs in the first, second, third, and fifth. Delta Airlines, a proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. The folks at Delta and the folks here in Atlanta at Turner Field hoping for a sixth-inning rally with Chris Johnson, then Reed Johnson, who will pinch hit for Medlin, and then the top of the Braves order coming up.
Packed house. Got to be 45,000 here tonight, wouldn't you think? Close to it.
Well, Braves finally got their first base runner. Let's see if they can get their first hit. As Johnson pops one into shallow center. Gregor Blanco coming in, and it's going to drop in front of Pence. Into no man's land, and the Braves break up the no-hitter and have a leadoff man aboard in the form of Chris Johnson.
No man's land is right. All three guys about equidistant from it. Not even a sign of disgust from Bumgarner.
The Braves have their Johnson and Johnson duo to start the sixth. Chris at first, Reed in the batter's box. There's Medlin out after 6 innings of 4-run, 9-hit ball. Reed Johnson 2 for 11 head-to-head with Bumgarner. And he takes a little low, 1-2.
Especially since Jason Hayward's come back. Reed's at-bats have been sporadic at best, so limited mostly to pinch hitting, and yet he still gives you a good solid battle at the plate. 5 for 19 with a homer as a pinch hitter.
Johnson down on strikes. That's 8 for Bumgarner. 1 out for Andrelton Simmons. Andrelton 0 for 2. He struck out and flied out. Downstairs. Let me correct myself. I shortchanged Bumgarner a strikeout. That's 9 strikeouts for Madison. That's the Braves season average per game. He's had at least 1 in every inning tonight.
And for that many strikeouts, a low pitch count, only 87.
Bouncing ball to third. Arias to second for 1. And on to first, a double play. Madison Bumgarner, a 1-hitter now as we head to the 7th. There's your score as we head to the 7th inning. All year long, Braves baseball on Fox Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. 6 innings, 4 runs for Chris Medlin this evening. And he will give way to left-hander Alex Wood, who answers the AT&T call to the bullpen tonight.
He had a good road trip. Pitched in 3 games, 3 2/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs or walks, and struck out 4. Those are his numbers overall that we're looking at right now. Just 1 walking and 7 strikeouts. He's come up from Double-A and really pitched well, especially in the balls and strikes category.
So his job, hold him right there and hope the Braves offense can muster something. And a first pitch strike to Gregor Blanco. Giants trying to play good ball here in Atlanta. That is something they have not done. Going back to 1994, the Giants have won just 2 series in this ballpark. Back to the last 75 games played in Atlanta, the Giants have won just 23 of them.
Wow.
But they're winning tonight. Swing and a miss by Blanco. Wood retires the Giants outfielder. And his night off to a good start. 1 down.
Very impressive stuff from Alex Wood.
It was just good enough bad curveball to be up out of the zone and get him to chase.
Just one of those good enough bad curveballs, breaking balls, yeah.
And hey, fellas, if you like unorthodox deliveries from left-handed pitchers, this is your game tonight. Bumgarner for the Giants, Wood for the Braves with that. I don't know what you call it. Type of delivery. He's reaching back as he kicks forward.
His drop and drive there shows the ball actually in a different place down low. You see it right here. Shows the ball to the hitter. But
it is kind of herky-jerky, but it's a completely different effort. You know, Alex's is real kind of hard and fast arm action, and throws harder than Bumgarner.
Right.
And like you were saying, Bumgarner's is almost lulls you to sleep because it's so easy.
Bumgarner's miles per hour is different than what you're seeing. You know what I mean? Like you could come back and say, you know, what did the gun say on that? It's 88, but with his release and with the deceptive thing, you got to add 2 or 3 miles per hour to that.
A strike to Posey. Two doubles and 2 runs. Abreu at first after the walk. And outside for an even count. 1 ball, 1 strike. After the Giants leave town, we've got the Mets. That's a 5-game series with New York. The doubleheader coming your way on Tuesday. It's a day-night affair. We'll have both games for you here on Fox Sports South. And it is presumed that Brandon Beachy will start one of those ball games. That has not, as far as we know, yet been announced. We understand Elizabeth has some news for us, and let's check in. Elizabeth.
Chip, thank you. Frank Wren just spoke to the media, and Brandon Beachy will not be starting on Tuesday. His arm a little tender. They're calling it just a minor setback. Tuesday's starter will be determined after the game Sunday, and like I said, Beachy is supposed to be available tonight after the game to talk, so when he does, we'll be there.
As we said, these things often work themselves out, don't they?
Yeah. coincidental, but odd that we were talking to John Smoltz, who's doing a game here tonight, and he was talking about some of the things that he had to deal with after he came back from Tommy John surgery, and it was.
Runner goes, another hit and run, and that's going to get down and roll for a bit. BJ gets to it, spins and fires. Arias around third. They're going to bring him home. The throw too high. Another double for Posey, and he adds an RBI to his 3-double night. And the Giants are up 5-0.
And he's up to 40 RBIs. It seems like about 38 of them come against Atlanta.
Well, he hits a double down the left field line, double down the right field line, double in the right center field gap. I'd put 2 guys in the left center field gap next to AB.
Yeah. Man.
I'm going to have a double, trying to figure out a way to get that guy out. Yikes. Buster Posey's come back to Atlanta with a vengeance. 1 ball, no strikes for Pence.
You got to give credit to Abreu, too, getting around the bases really well, because that ball didn't even get to the warning track. I mean, BJ cut it off, but base running by Abreu.
Alex blows that one by Pence at 92. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Giants have 10 hits tonight, 7 of them for extra bases. 6 doubles, 3 singles, and a homer. That's high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A little low. Crawford has 2 hits. He's the next Giants hitter. And Pence will stay alive. The count remains full. By the way, we just got back from Los Angeles and San Diego. We were all watching the big brawl that took place between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Major League Baseball finally announced the penalties, the fines, and suspensions in that game today, or for that game today. As Pence takes a walk and is aboard with 1 out. Ian Kennedy got the strongest punishment, a 10-game suspension. Both Don Mattingly and Kirk Gibson were suspended a game. But how about this one, guys? Eric Hinske got a 5-gamer. J.P. Howell and Skip Schumacher got 2-game suspensions. Ronald Belisario got 1. Mark McGwire got 2 games. But Puig got none.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really bad decisions made on these suspensions. Players were talking about it today, about how bizarre it was. Nobody debated Kennedy's suspension, but Eric Hinske, all you saw of him was standing there with his arms out trying to just hold people back and keep them separated. Meanwhile, Puig is taking pot shots at him over somebody's shoulder, throwing punches, and he doesn't even get suspended. Belisario got 1 game. He was going around tomahawking people when they weren't looking. Uribe circled the pack trying to get after Kennedy. Some of those were just really strange decisions on the suspensions to me.
Even the Dodger players who are quoted anonymously said Eric Hinske was both a peacemaker and a punching bag.
Yeah.
But he got a 5-game suspension.
Yeah,
And that come from the Dodger players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's strange.
With Puig mania, does marketing trumpet common sense? How in the world can he not be suspended?
Well, another thing about that is Joe Garagiola used to be an executive with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was the one who supposedly handed down these suspensions from Major League Baseball. I think that's a little odd.
All in all, very weird. As Wood having trouble throwing strikes in this 7th inning tonight. 3-1 the count. I don't know the status of the appeals. I'm sure they will take place. The managers aren't able to appeal, nor are the coaches, I believe. They have to serve the suspensions, but the players themselves can play until their appeals are heard.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous. About the guy who's throwing the most punches got a fine.
And another base on balls. 3rd walk of the inning. Loads the bags for San Francisco.
This is very unusual. He'd walked one guy in his previous 5 outings.
And now he faces Belt with a giant at every base.
They beat the Pirates yesterday 10-0. 17 hits yesterday for the Giants. They hit 4 doubles yesterday. Posey, Belt, Blanco, and Noonan. And Hunter Pence hit the only home run.
So offensively, the Braves catching these guys at a real bad time. They're hitting everybody. And 5 more runs, 10 more hits this evening, and looking for more with 1 out in the 7th. That caught a corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Might notice that Alex is wearing glasses. He has astigmatism. He has had trouble seeing the signs at night here at Turner Field. He said it was also an issue for him at times in the minor leagues. As he hits a ground ball toward Freeman at first. The peg to the plate is all Atlanta will get. As Posey is forced at the plate for out number 2. But Alex said, look, my stuff was frankly so good at Double-A that he didn't really need the help. He could put down whatever the catcher wanted and just blow it right past people, and the numbers indicated that. But obviously in the big leagues, a whole lot less margin for error.
Well, not on top of that, with no lights in the outfield at Turner Field, it's hard for anybody with 20/20 vision to see the catcher's signs, and we see quite often a catcher having to put some chalk on his fingers or some white out on the fingernails.
Let's see if he can pitch out of this mess. Against a strike to Torres, who's 0 for 3.
Like that choice of pitches there. Bases loaded and 2 outs, but came with a changeup first pitch.
And that's what was.
It's called a balk.
Yeah.
Yep. Alex balked. So Pence will come home. Everybody else moves up 90 feet. And that makes it 6-0.
We'd have to see a replay to catch that one that Gary Darling saw, because I didn't. So it looked like Gary Darling looked like he said he started and stopped.
Yeah, like he shrugged his shoulders.
Can't shrug your shoulders.
Yeah, he did. He raised his head up just ever so slightly.
One ball, 1 strike for Torres. Now 1-2. On the scoreboard tonight, Phillies are in Colorado and losing 3-0 to the Rockies. The Nationals are in Cleveland tonight. At last report, that was 1-1. Braves divisional lead 5.5 games. And that's over the outside corner, and that will retire the side. Couple of strikeouts, 3 walks, and 2 runs in the top of the 7th. It's 6-0 Giants. Baseball on Fox Sports South is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Madison Bumgarner has been outstanding. He's allowed just 1 Atlanta hit. Time for our AT&T U-verse trivia question this evening. Who's the only Giant since 1980 with a 50 steal or better season? Only had 1 in the last 33 years steal 50 or more bases. Who is it? What you think about that for a while as Jason Hayward gets things started for the Braves. Big crowd wants to see a late inning comeback. Braves have done a good job of doing that from the 7th inning on this year. Low and outside, ball 2.
Bumgarner has pitched like he's been pitching in a rocking chair all night.
Bounced in front of the Braves dugout. Foul. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Joe, it's just been effortless. It just made it look way too easy.
And a swing and a miss. Another strikeout.
Another late swing.
That's 10 in the game.
Time for Georgia Power Energy tip number 8. Javi Lopez, number 8. Georgia Power's power, let's start over. Georgia Power's Power Credit Program is designed to reduce the amount of energy used by your home's air conditioner when the demand for electricity peaks in the summer. A lot of folks lost power yesterday from that bad storm that went through town, and they're working feverishly to get everybody's power hooked up again. Big trees went down around the metro area.
Strike 1 to Justin Upton. He lined out to end the Braves' 4th, struck out to end the Braves' 1st.
He's just been locating so beautifully tonight. That was a changeup, perfectly placed, down and away. Best Justin could do was foul tip it. And he's done that a lot. He's done that a lot. 0-2. He's pounded those right-handers inside with his best fastball. That was 91.
And again, the perception when you're hitting a guy like him is it's not 91, it's 94. You know, and the old saying, perception is reality. It's like it doesn't matter what the gun says. My perception is that thing is on top of me.
He's not hesitant about shaking Posey off either. That's the second straight pitch where they've had to go to the third sign. He's a big guy too, 6'5", 235. In case you were wondering.
To second. And Upton is out, number 2. Physically reminds me a little of John Lester of the Red Sox. Big, strong legs. And real good stuff again tonight. Here's Freeman. He's lined out, grounded out. At 101 pitches, he's got a lot left in the tank.
He's gone over 100 pitches in each of his last 7 starts. 115 is his season high. He's done that each of his last 2.
His spot is due second in the 8th inning. As Freeman knocks that one back to the screen.
Correct myself. I didn't look below the last line. There were 2 starts below that. He went 94 and 87 pitches after those 115 outings.
Even though Freddie fouled that ball back, it was one of the few fastballs I've seen our hitters be on.
And look at Freeman. He does that as well as anybody in the National League. He was caught in between, but will make his way to second base after the ball was dropped in left. Andres Torres. That's a single and a giant error. And the second Braves hit of the night.
Sometimes it's almost like Freddie sets him up.
Yeah,
I mean, he took that vicious cut at the fastball, and then he just that magic wand on anything away. And the thing I love about it, he's got both hands on the bat.
Yeah, no, his reach is incredible. We talk about his ability to stretch at first base. He uses that same length he has in his arms and his legs to reach pitches. That ball is off the plate right there. But you're right, he has got that magic wand out there. That's frustrating for a pitcher when you do everything you're supposed to do and throw it off the plate.
So baby steps. The Braves have their second hit. Let's see if they can score their first run, spoil the shutout. Brian McCann has been struck out twice, once swinging, once looking.
One of those pitches that I'm pretty sure Brian felt was outside. Gary Darlin has called a strike. I'm thinking if that pitch gets called a strike again, it is on a third strike. I think we may see some fireworks from Brian.
We might, but you know what? Give Bumgarner credit on that.
Right. You're right.
He keeps going to those spots. You're going to get it called. Keep going out there. Coming into the game, there were some Braves hitters who had good numbers against him. Hayward 3 for 10 with a homer. Justin Upton 9 for 17. Freddie Freeman now 4 for 16 with a homer.
I think this is the night, or the kind of night, guys, where you can't fault the Braves for what they're not doing. You have to credit what Bumgarner is doing.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, Chip, he's pitched to his strengths. I think there has been a little situation with the Braves not being able to pick him up early enough, but you're right, he hasn't made any mistakes.
High fly ball, shallow left. Who wants this? In foul ground, the Giants' third baseman Arias makes the play, and that ends the Atlanta 7th.
You've just noticed Buster Posey has 3 of the 6 doubles that they've hit this evening. And it's been all Giants.
New pitcher on the mound for Atlanta. Anthony Varvaro takes over with the bottom part of the Giants order up in this 8th inning. Joaquin Arias, then the pitcher spot, then Blanco.
Anthony 3-1 on the year. His last outing came at San Diego 3 days ago. Just a third of an inning.
Giants trying to hand the Braves a rare home loss. Atlanta came into play tonight 21-7 at Turner Field. Every other club in Major League Baseball has at least 10 losses at home, except the Braves. And a base hit the other way by Arias. Guess what the count was?
0-2, and I think that was the count when he got his double back in the 2nd inning. This was a good piece of hitting on a curveball. He waited on it and just took an inside out swing at it.
Hector Sanchez will pinch hit for Bumgarner. He's out after 7 innings with 10 strikeouts. Only 2 hits. And got him for 1 walk. a Giants club that has been looking for good work out of its rotation. Madison Bumgarner got the weekend off to a great start for San Francisco tonight.
And he got run support. Early support, too.
Swing and a miss by Hector Sanchez. Sanchez called up from Fresno before yesterday's game. It's his second appearance with the Giants. He's 3 for 20 at the plate. Sanchez, a catcher by trade. He has started 4 games behind the plate, 3 of them with Tim Lincecum starting, 1 in support of Matt Cain. Broken bat toward Freeman at first. He'll fire to second for 1, and the return to first in plenty of time for the double play. That's a 3-6-1, 2 outs.
Not an easy double play to turn. Freddie's got a good line, though, without the runner being in his way to feed Andrelton. And Anthony hustled over to get there in time to give Andrelton a good target at first.
Well, it's the toughest double play to turn, and that was about the easiest 3-6-1 double play I've seen. Very seldom do you see a shortstop have that much time. Favreau does a good job. That's really the key to that 3-6-1 is getting the pitcher over there in time.
Popped up off the bat of Gregor Blanco, and foul ground. Chris Johnson is under it, and he makes the play to retire the side. 6-0 Giants. Braves bat in the bottom of the 8th. Thing. 2 more with the Giants here tomorrow afternoon, then Sunday night on ESPN. Then the Mets are in town beginning Monday. And it is B.J. Upton bobblehead night on Thursday. The first 20,000 fans will get that bobblehead presented by Delta. Order tickets now at Braves.com/tickets or by calling 800-745-3000. Apparently we are going to see the debut of Zach Wheeler for New York. He's going to pitch in one of those games on Tuesday. And we'll see Matt Harvey on Tuesday as well, the flame-throwing right-handed pitcher for New York.
Zach Wheeler, when he was drafted out of Cartersville, as you look at the numbers for Sandy Rosario, Zach Wheeler was taken by the Giants in the first round, just in front of the Braves, who had intentions of drafting him #1 and didn't get him.
Broken bat liner, short hop, dropped by Crawford, and the throw to first in time gets B.J. Upton. One man down. So we'll look forward to the Mets series starting Monday, but first things first, got to finish tonight and get set for Game 2 tomorrow afternoon. Here are your Chevron upcoming starting pitchers.
Jack Gaudin has really filled in a real need for them as we look at BJ, who thought that ball was going to be caught, and it wasn't. Anyway, back to Chevron. Mike Minor, 8-2, be going for his 9th win tomorrow. 2.44 ERA, and it looks like he's going to need to be the stopper, as the Braves have lost 3 in a row and trailing tonight 6-0.
Looks outside, ball 2. Top of the hour in Atlanta, bottom of the 8th inning. The Giants have 11 hits, the Braves have 2. 6-0 is the score. That's back our way, foul. 2 balls and a strike. Good news in Cleveland, the Indians beat Washington. They got a run in the bottom of the 9th inning off Fernando Abad. 2-1 the final score there. Colorado's beating the Phillies 6-2 in the 5th at Coors Field.
Braves were very fortunate on the road trip, going 2-5 on that trip. Did not lose a lot of ground to allow those teams to make up a lot of ground on Atlanta. So tonight looks like they're going to maintain their 5.5 game lead, so they're getting some help. But you always kick yourself thinking, what would the lead be if that trip was 5-2 instead of 2-5, and if you were winning tonight? But still in first place by 5.5 games.
There are worse places to be.
Yes, there are. Got to crank it up tomorrow night, or at least the last 4 or 5 outs.
3 balls, 2 strikes from Sandy Rosario.
Rosario, fastball, slider, changeup.
Fly ball to right. Pence coming in. Gets there and makes the play for the second out. What a start for Madison Bumgarner. He retired the first 14 men. Didn't give up a hit until the Braves batted in the 6th. And that's our Coors Light freeze cam.
Just a little inside out flare by Chris Johnson right out in no man's land. You can see how the 3 guys were just about the same distance from the baseball. And that was the first hit of the night for Atlanta. The Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light.
Strike 1 to Chris Johnson. Braves catching a Giants club that's hot. They shut out the Pirates yesterday 10-0. They're winning tonight 6-0. And Mr. Posey, one of the big villains.
Well, they've been impressive at the plate. There's no question about that. So defense has been as good as well, Bumgarner, but they're 2 out hitting, they're 2 strike hitting. Makes it tough to figure out where to pitch them. always putting the ball in play. Something's always happening.
And a swing and a miss retires Johnson, and the Braves in order, and that ends the 8th inning. And let's go back to our AT&T Ubers trivia question. Since 1980, there's been only one Giant with 50 stolen bases or more in a single season. And the question is, can you name that Giant?
No, I can't.
I can't.
Can we just move on and just say we can't name him?
Can we come back?
I keep waiting for the questions like name a Giant. Yeah. I'm going to guess Jeffrey One Flap Down Leonard.
Wow, 50 stolen bases.
I know that's wrong, but just like to.
Well, at least we came up with a guess.
Yeah.
You did. Okay.
Brett.
Wow.
Sorry, Brett.
How can you not remember that?
Only
Lewis. Joe and I are allowed to forget former Braves.
Darren Lewis had 46. Bill North 45.
Oh, Bill North.
Barry Bonds, the most he had was 40.
David Carpenter on to pitch the 9th inning with Abreu, Posey, and Pence coming out.
51. Wow. Is that what that was? It 51? Is that what?
51.
Brett Bunt too. Wow, the best I've seen ever.
Yeah. Really good.
My generation.
High hopper out to second. Abreu is retired. The Braves, of course, traded Brett Butler in the Len Barker deal. One can only wonder how different history in Atlanta might have been had Brett Butler remained a Brave.
Yeah, Brett really went on and kind of looking for a leadoff hitter for a few years. Claudell Washington was there, but you know, Claudell wasn't the typical leadoff hitter. I mean, we moved around a few guys, but Brett certainly moved on and had a great career and was just really the prototypical leadoff hitter. Great eye, didn't strike out, could slap the ball the other way, and everybody played in because we knew he was going to try and bunt at least once or twice a game.
And he'd still bunt.
And he'd still bunt and get a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, he just.
Is he still managing? I think he's in Reno.
Yes.
At least he was in Reno.
Yes, I saw him in spring training this year with the
Arizona?
That's what I want to say. Yeah, with
their
Arizona.
club's in Reno, I believe.
Yeah.
for Brett. Line to second. Posey's retired. 2 outs.
A line drive.
Check to Webington.
Yeah, just does he ever hit a comebacker, you know, or a 27 hopper to third?
A 3-double night for Posey. Here's Pence. He's singled, he's doubled, he's walked, he's knocked in a run, and he's scored.
Really getting back to Brett Butler and his ability to bunt. It really accentuates the fact that you hardly see anybody. I mean, can you guys come up with a guy that stands out in your mind that he's gonna try and bunt at least once a game?
The only guy that comes to mind that you got to defend against is Juan Pierre.
Yep.
He'll try it, not near as much as, and he's not as good as Brett was.
But only one guy comes to mind.
That's the first one that I think of.
That's going to try at least once a game.
Jose Reyes maybe, but he's hurt.
Yeah.
Now with Toronto.
Well, when you can put it down where you want to and you can run a little bit, it's indefensible.
I was always amazed as a kid watching the guys bunt on the turf. Guys who could back the ball up on the artificial surface. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Pence. And he hit that ball twice foul.
Remember, he's the guy that hit the ball 3 times on one pitch in the playoffs. Broken bat.
That was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen.
I know. I've never seen anything like that. And maybe it's happened before, but thanks to today's technology.
That super slow motion.
Yeah.
And that one handcuffed Simmons. But Anderson stays with it, makes the play to retire the side. Last call for the Braves. We head to the 9th. Home half, that is, trailing 6-zip. Jordan Schaefer will grab a bat and lead things off for the Braves offense. Only 2 hits for the Braves. Madison Bumgarner flirted with a no-hitter. That was broken up on a blue hit in the Atlanta 6th. Braves hit into a double play in that inning. They also picked up a Freddie Freeman opposite field single in the home half of the 7th inning. Jordan Schaefer is our SunTrust shining moment.
Good numbers coming off the bench, certainly. Good numbers all around, whether he's starting or coming off the bench.
First pitch swing and out of play for a strike. Something the Braves pitching staff hopes to improve upon tomorrow night with Mike Minor. Of the Giants' 11 hits tonight, 7 of them have come with 2 strikes, including 4 hits on 0-2 pitches.
Mistakes on location there.
Another late swing, 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the air toward left center. Blanco going back to the warning track and makes the catch 3 steps shy of the fence.
Well, Schaefer just got under that one a little bit, but he's put a lot of good at-bats together, hasn't he, guys, this year?
Worked hard to get his game back.
Base is empty, 1 out.
I think Schaefer's a guy that possibly, if he's an everyday player, would be a guy that you'd have to watch for that bunt at least once a game.
Yep.
A first pitch swing, deep short. Crawford, quick release, and the throw pulls Belt off the bag.
We've been talking about Crawford, and Dale, you mentioned it, you guys were assessing your choices for perhaps the U.S. team in the World Baseball Classic. Look how quick this plant and release is. Good arm, just wide of the mark. Base hit.
Yeah, impressive to get rid of it that quick, and to get the combination of that and the velocity that he got on it was very impressive.
Third Atlanta hit brings up Jason Hayward. Another chance to extend his hitting streak. It's at 10 games. Braves hope to avoid being shot out for the 9th time this year. This is game number 67. And up the middle. Ball dropped by the pitcher, and he'll fire to first, and Hayward is out on a head-first slide. Jerry Meals with the call. Hayward is the second out.
Well, Jason busting down the line, trying to stay out of the double play, and it sure looked like he beat it.
The way Belt caught this ball, he didn't stretch for it, and he caught it kind of standing to the side. That was awfully close. I'm glad Jason's okay. But you're right, he was hustling down the line from the get-go.
Good hustle by Hayward, but his hitting streak comes to an end tonight. And the Braves are down to their final out.
And a ball has been called on Rosario for going to his mouth without wiping it off. Another look at that play. Oh, I think Jason might have beaten that. Hard for Jerry Meals from that position to see when the hand hit the bag.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit tougher of a call for the umpire. I think, one of the things they do is they are looking at the first baseman and waiting for the sound of the foot to hit the bag. You can't hear it when you slide head first, touch it with your hand.
One of baseball's attempts to speed up the game is allowing pitchers to go to their mouth on the mound. In the old days, you had to walk off the dirt, go to the grass if you wanted to moisten your fingers, then wipe off, then go back to the rubber. You can go to the mouth on the mound, but you have to wipe your hand. Rosario didn't do that, and so a ball was called to Upton. This is the second pitch of the at-bat, but the count is now 3 balls, no strikes.
Paul Immel, the second base umpire, was the umpire that caught that.
Now 3-1.
Braves down to their final strike.
Good fastball from Rosario there, 94. Posey was set up on the outside corner. He delivered it right there.
And that is your ball game. The San Francisco Giants came to Atlanta and shut out the Braves, who fall by a final score of 6-0. The tone set by former Brave Gregor Blanco. His leadoff homer. All Madison Bumgarner need to earn another Giants win.